Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC here in a moment. First, the disclaimers. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shops campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are in the description box. Autistic Hoya's massive archive, maintained by Autistic Hoya, aka Lydia Brown, where we get all the receipts in regards to the JRC, and we are talking decades. Starting from the 70s, decades of receipts there. Also, we have the article written by Neuroclastic, the same one that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center threatened a defamation lawsuit over if Neuroclastic did not remove said article from their website. What troubled them was, in that article they surveyed over 800 certified and licensed ABA professionals from all over the globe in regards to the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center's so-called behavior modification program. So obviously, if they are having such a big hissy fit in regards to that article from Neuroclastic, because folks, they just got started a few years ago. They're pretty new on the scene. For the JRC to feel the need to go guns blazing immediately, there's something in there they don't want you to know. So please read the article. If you already have, reshare it. We do have Neuroclastic's GoFundMe linked up in there in case the JRC ever decides to feel brave. Because unlike them, whether it's in groups or us individual advocates, we do not have, shady access to unlimited sums of money. Alright? So if you can, please donate, folks. If you can't, share it. I know that they would definitely appreciate that. To our trigger warnings, when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, Agape Boarding School for Boys, Tobin World, Circle of Hope, any of those schools, Cook Camp, all of them, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please utilize the headphones. Also, of course, this channel is always marked not for kids. We do use profanity. We speak on dark subjects. So if you have someone who's 16 years old or younger, I do ask parental supervision is advised. Alright? Okay. Are we prepared to be gaslit more? Are we prepared to listen to word salad that would make Elaine Brednahoff blush? Are we ready to listen to the very worst attempts at character assassination while simultaneously spitting more lies in a second? I mean, they kind of belong to the Guinness Book of World Records, don't they? And no, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. So we're going to go back to where we left off here the other day. The risk-benefit analysis, according to FDA, also entails examining the risks and benefits of alternative treatments, and the FDA falls short here as well. Are you smoking crack? Where did they fall short, JRC? Was it because they don't agree with you? Is it because the success rates in regards to the different programs out there are actually factually better than yours? Or is this going to be another example of you screaming that it can't work because it doesn't address the needs of kids that are as severe as the ones that we have at the JRC? Because that's the excuse you have used multiple times over the past several decades. The problem with that, JRC, the reason why people won't just swallow the lie, is to put it point blank here, the math isn't mathing. The math isn't mathing. What I mean by that, JRC, is there are millions of us, millions of neurodivergents with dual diagnoses and comorbid conditions all over the globe. All over the globe. Okay? With numbers like that, you cannot tell me, with a straight face at least, all those millions of folks, none of them as severe as the kids that you have at the JRC, who are so rarely severely bad that the only thing that can help is violence. Because not just me, but logic itself calls bullshit here. Okay? The math is not mathing. Even on the areas of the spectrum that is, according to them, quote unquote, more severe, those are also included in those data studies in regards to these other different treatment programs. How am I aware of this, JRC? Because this has been a thing since the early 2000s, and I was an instrumental part out of my part of the state, 25% of the state in the southwest region of Missouri, of rolling out one of those particular treatment programs, which is person-centered planning. Data sheets essentially have tattooed themselves into the inside of my eyelids. My stacks of paper had stacks of paper. Okay? So much over the different pilot projects started in various other states that I would go to sleep and then dream that I was reviewing said data sheets. Okay? And guess what? Within those data sheets, what was included are individuals, autistic and otherwise, who were, by description, quote unquote, with severe, scary, possibly fatal self-interest and aggressive behaviors. It gave data on where they started. Before they even got into the clinical study, they went over the different treatment programs that had been tried previously with said folks to kind of see where it was falling through and doing so badly. Immediate changes from the implementation of the person-centered plan, and then follow-up. So we have the start of the plan, we have the first month, second month, third month, 6 month, year. Because remember, early 2000s. This was just kicking up off the ground in my state around that time period. And yes, we are talking about individuals who slammed their heads so hard into walls that they caused their own concussions. We are talking about body slams that were so violent that there were some ribs that had been broken. Individuals who have broke limbs, bones in the finger, the hand, the fist, the feet. Individuals who had due to sensory issues, tried to pry ears off, gouged their eyeballs out, and meltdown proceeded to hit themselves so hard that some had ended up with more damage. So yes, before you go off on me, JRC, with your usual absolute brain dead nonsense, taking data from like the 90s, when a good majority of these programs were just a thought in somebody else's head, and trying to apply it to now, over 20 to 30 years later, doesn't pan out. Because unlike your clinical studies and your data, theirs is more well-rounded. We know what plans they were on previously, what issues kept cropping up that it seemed like the plan that they were on were really not addressing, the behavior was getting worse. What was tried in detail. So not just all positive only, and all the ABA stuff, like, no, they got detailed, okay? You can't just say positive only, and then we're going to throw words around that the FDA, as well as your layman, is not going to have any idea what they are or what they are referring to. Real clinical studies assumes the fact that not everybody is very familiar with this field's particular type of lingo, and therefore explains it out for them in the documentation in regards to the results of said study. Because that's what grown-ups in this field do when they conduct a proper clinical study, JRC. You should try it sometime. Alright? So yeah, sitting there trying to tell me, or anybody else for that matter, that the FDA fell short in regards to alternative treatments because what they found out doesn't matches your psycho. Alright, let me go ahead and read. Well, they pull out Big Pharma, the boogeyman again. God, it's so predictable. All of these people do the same crap. Now we have the same crap the JRC spews coming out the mouth of RFK Jr. and Trump. I'm sorry, folks, I'm gonna say it. Why the hell has the comet not hit yet? I am living in idiocracy here, and I don't have a single way out. Send help. Let me read their psychobabble, shall we? The risks of psychotropic medications are well documented, and the actual harm they cause to these patients is outlined above. Allow me to repeat myself, JRC. Tell you things that should be obvious to most people, but unfortunately we live in an age where there's quite a few people. I'll be nice. I'll be nice. What is the truth about side effects? For all the anti-pharma, anti-medicine screaming morons out there. The fact of the matter is, folks, the most severe possible side effects for most pharmaceutical drugs has such a low occurrence, such a minuscule occurrence, that it's even kind of hard to measure it properly. Okay? Let me give you an example. You guys ever see advertisements on TV, especially now around the springtime, and they're advertising anti-sinus allergies, right? One of the big ones they usually throw up there is Claritin, right? Now, you know how at the end of the Claritin commercial, where they start reading rapidly through some of the potential side effects of the medicine, well, after telling you to consult your doctor. Now, because I am autistic and sometimes have really, really acute hearing, no matter how fast they're running off the side effects, one of those side effects is death, itchiness, extreme depression, suicidal tendencies. Now, let me ask you a question, folks, about what percentile do you think with Claritin who take that medication to help with the hell season known as spring develop those specific side effects? Millions of people all over the West take things like Claritin during the spring, right? In that commercial, we say one of those side effects could be suicidal ideology. It could be possible death due to rare conditions. What do you think that percentile is? Since you're with me and I'm curious, we're going to look that up, right? We are going to look that up. Okay, we're going to take a look, shall we? Okay, so you have diabetes, phenylketonuria. Oh my God, I can't say that word. We're just going to spell it. PHENYLKETONURIA or PKU or any other condition that requires you to limit or avoid these substances in your diet. We're talking about the overall pill makeup that's actually usually normal. This is why they always tell you in each commercial to consent with your doctor, and this is why I tell you every single time in regards to medicine, talk with your doctor about your prescription medication. They are not God. You're not receiving it to them as though you are Moses getting the 10 Commandments that are stone written in the finger of God being handed to you. Okay? You are allowed to ask your doctor questions. You are allowed to call your doctor if there's any side effects that you may be having that are disturbing or you feel like you need to get switched to something else. Pharma is only the boogeyman if you make them the boogeyman. Okay? They're hardly out here selling death pills to everyone. One main reason. They're looking for return customers. Alright? Okay. Older adults may be sensitive to drowsiness or confusion. Look at that. That's for a sinus medication. The JRC has that listed in their little psychobabble there as something just so horrible. We need to get them off the meds and put them on the torture treatment right away. Honey, I can deal with being a little bit drowsy. That doesn't bother me. I don't even mind with my stomach getting messed up. It's been messed up since I was born. I don't see any changes to that anytime in my future. You know, just saying. Let's go again and continue, okay? Rare side effects. Let's get to them. These medicines may cause a slight increase in inner eye pressure that may make the condition worse for things such as glaucoma, intestinal obstruction, or stomach ulcer. Okay, now we're going to look something else up real quick. Sorry. Because I'm me. Claritin side effects you should know about. Histamines. And there it is, folks. There it is. 10% may deal with upset stomach, nausea, and diarrhea. Okay? Now we've got some more percentages. We're going to go ahead and pull this up. I'm doing this to prove a point. Okay? Alright. So the very rare, like the things that the JRC is trying to bring up, look here. Less than 0.01% dizziness and convulsion. 1 to 10% sedation. About 10 up to 12 with headaches. 1 to 10% for nervousness. 0.1 for insomnia. Frequency not reported for depression. Pyroluria. Gastrointestinal. You see what I'm saying here, right? First off, the multiple things that the JRC lists are the same side effects you can find written under the warning label of any over-the-counter sinus allergies medication at any gas station or pharmacy in the United States. If you also notice, looking at Claritin, the percentile of the individuals that are actually going to be affected by even the smallest bit of side effects is extremely minuscule. The JRC is really trying to mislead you in regards to pharmaceutical medication. They really are. And they depend on the fact that most people are not going to take you to bring up the receipts. So that's why I wanted to do that here. I want you guys to actually look at something as simple as over-the-counter sinus allergy medication that we all get every spring, at least out here. Pollen's a nightmare. Send help, right? You notice how, for that just over-the-counter sinus allergy medication included all of this here. Let's read it again, shall we? Drooling, incontinence, sedation, tremors, headaches, intensified aggression, gastrointestinal distress. Look familiar? I thought so too. So in all actual honesty, the side effects they are bringing up here to try and scare you are the same side effects you face if you go to a gas station or a pharmacy and pick you up some Claritin for your sinuses. Okay? Not exactly the boogeyman that they're trying to make it out to be, is it? Now, I'm not going to put others down in regards to side effects. For the love of God, I have sensory issues. Side effects suck, and I have had situations where random things, or weird cold medicines have caused me hives. They take forever to go away. They are not fun. Okay? Any sensory overwhelming boom hives sucks. But it is not at the proportions that they are trying to tell you. The very likelihood that a particular person taking a medication, suffering to the side effects to the level that the JRC wants you to believe that they are, is so minuscule and so rare that, because believe me folks, if these were near the issues that the JRC tries to make it seem, if these medications were causing mass people to become hyper aggressive, like people hyped up on PCP, or that it drugs them into the point of absolute catatonia, or any of that, that is so rare and minuscule that I'm sorry, considering they do nothing but lie. If their lips are moving, the JRC is lying. I wanted to give you some perspective on that. Bluntly, they're full of shit. They are absolutely full of shit. Okay? They want you to buy into that it is so dangerous. It's gonna wreck your child forever. Because they get $250,000 a year to do horrific things to these kids. $250,000 in revenue per year per student. It is in their interest to ramp up fear in regards to potential side effects. It is in their interest to get you to fear Big Pharma more than you fear Dr. Matthew Israel's pseudoscience, complete their monstrosity. They want you to be more in fear of Big Pharma than be in fear of the absolute horrors they are visiting upon your children. Point blank. But this is why you have me. I can see the emotional component, but I'm going to attack it with my usual flawless logic. I don't have an ego at all. Sorry y'all. But yeah, that's the truth. This is why it annoys me every time, whether it's a politician or whether it's, don't get me started on Andrew Wakefield or Jenny McCarthy. Yeah, I got special rage for those two. Special rage. You don't want to know. It's not the boogeyman. As a matter of fact, if you want to talk about side effects, in regards to the side effects to medications, between those having horrific side effects of the GED, there are less kids on those medications having severe side effects. I mean, what do we know about the GED? Every single one of those kids have had a first or second degree burn on their body at some point in time with the GED. We also know that every single child who uses the GED feels extreme physical pain. I don't care if it's 2 seconds, JRC. If you are in a hellscape level amount of pain, 2 seconds can be 25 years. Please stop using it, because you're a joke when you do. Especially when you are talking about people who already have sensory issues. I do not have a great threshold when it comes to tolerating pain. Most of us do not. In fact, it is heightened in me in a way that it's not for most neurotypicals. And yeah, kind of found in between there's a few people who are like me, who are on the spectrum with me as well. Okay? It's not the boogeyman. Big Pharma's not trying to warehouse or kill your kid. Okay? JRC are liars. They want you to fear Big Pharma so that you'll keep your kid in their school so that they continue to keep making money off of them while they completely traumatize them. That's all it is. Alright? We're going to go ahead and finish the paragraph. This is probably the only video I'm going to do on this today because god damn it, the JRC just like gets on every single nerve I've got. Okay. There is also ample evidence that when ESDs are not a part of these patients' treatment plans, their SIB and AB persist. They continue to injure themselves and others, and they are frequently hospitalized or expelled from school and residential programs because those programs determine they cannot safely manage the dangerous behaviors. Holy run-on sentence word salad Batman. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a little kid trying to get away with a lie. You know what I mean? Just stole, like, one of those little toy cars from your brother, right? And little brother runs off and tells mom. The mom comes back. The other kid's like, I don't know what he's talking about. It's just like a word vomit. That's what that sounds like right there. That's what that sounds like. So let me put it out for you again, JRC. Without your device, those behaviors return because you're not dealing with the source from which these behaviors are coming in the first place. It's basic logic 101 here. If you leave the root of the problem is still there. It's not going to go away by means of corporal punishment. You're punishing someone for symptoms over which we have no goddamn control. And then tell everyone we have to remain on the device to make those behaviors go down. Do you not see the abusive mindfuck they're trying to do here? But without the device, the behaviors come back. The whole point of your device is to tell us that it brings the behaviors down and that they'll be faded off the device and get to live in this fantasy world you and the rest of the medical model concocted that doesn't exist in the real one. Okay? Here's the problem here. If you have a kid on a GED device and they've been on it for years, you remove the GED device and the problems come back. JRC, do you know what that means, honey? It means your device doesn't work. Because in order to get those behaviors, frequencies down, you engage in horrific behavior by visiting violence upon them over issues over which they have no control. You constantly mistreat some of the most vulnerable people on planet Earth. You do so with impunity and get away with your crimes in a way that I've never seen before. And I'm talking even when compared to some third world countries. Okay? If you give someone a treatment, you say you're going to use this as a supplement to the overall treatment. But if you remove that supplemental thing, the behaviors are coming back. That means something isn't working here, doesn't it? Now, I will give you this. The argument can be made, dishonestly, but can be made. Well, Tiff, couldn't you use that same logic with your own medication? You say that it keeps you calm, it helps keep the anxiety under control. But under that same scenario, if you stop taking that medication, all of that overwhelming and crippling anxiety would come back. Not that very long much after, even if you missed a single dose. So, wouldn't that, using the logic I just gave you a moment ago, say that that doesn't work either? This is the false equivalency that the JRC has continued to bring to this conversation. Because we are not comparing apples and oranges here. We're comparing apples in a multi-trailer hauler desert truck cooking it down I-77. One of those gas-guzzling beasts with multiple trailers where they're hauling cars off to multiple dealerships. That's the ones we see most around here. I'll just go with it. Okay? Here's the difference. In regards to medication, it's not the first resort. First off, see, unlike the JRC, when I first went into my psychiatrist, they didn't automatically seek to throw pills at me, which was nice because I've had those doctors. Not gonna lie and say I haven't. But I had an attitude problem then, just like I do now, and I settled their shit. If you think I was grumpy now, you should have talked to me when I was 19. Holy crap. Difference is with the anxiety, there is a chemical imbalance that I shared in hereditary, that I received through hereditary. Oh my God, I can't talk today. That I received from Dad's side of the family. Okay? Pharmaceuticals interact in regards to things that can't be handled by simple therapies and treatment programs alone, in a far more humane manner than putting my ass on a human shock collar. Because if the choice is between, well, you have to take some antacid along with my medicine in the morning to not have stomach issues, or be put on a human shock collar and end up with second and third degree burns, I can tell you how easy that choice is to make. You see, that is the real reasonable choice that level-headed most people would choose. They're going to choose the pill. They're going to choose whatever mild side effects might come along with that, instead of getting with a so-called device that is designed to physically hurt me. Not just as something that is a possible side effect. That pill in there is not designed to give me constipation. Okay? Nor is it designed to cause my acid. You get what I'm saying, right? It's designed to help with the anxiety. Those are possible side effects. The GED device is designed by Dr. Matthew Israel's own words to hurt the kids that wear it. Remember, it's supposed to hurt, and they are supposed to be afraid. JRC's own words, their own testimonials. You can go to Google or YouTube and look it up. Look at some of the interviews Dr. Israel has done with ABC News, CBS, and Fox, because it is unadulterated nightmare fuel. Okay? So, if we're talking apples and semi-trucks, I'm going to take the pill that is designed to help deal with the chemical imbalance that causes my anxiety to spiral out of control, where no self-soothing mechanisms were able to help me get it back under control, over a device that is literally designed to cause me physical pain and discomfort. Its sole purpose is to cause me harm, as opposed to this pill who has a 0.01% chance of causing me harm. You see the difference, right? Alright, good. We're going to go ahead and close out on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do get get removed from time to time. So if you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Folks, please don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this afternoon, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye, everyone.